This video is brought to you by
Cool Green Clothing. We done gone worldwide and we coming straight out of Baltimore. And if you're in town, pull up on us at 215 West Saratoga Street. And if you're not in town, go online right now at coolgreenclothing.com and make your purchase. Oh yeah, and by the way, if you ain't cool and getting the green, you're in the way. And that's just basic.
What's going on, YouTube fam? It's your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of the Baltimore Way, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. It's free. It helps get the video out there. Definitely watch this video to the end to hear the full story and all the details in the case. For my day one fam, y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit the notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Oh yeah, feel free to share the channel with your peoples. Everybody is welcome. With that being said, let's get right into the story. When we are kids, growing up, going outside to play, school, and just starting out in life, it's nothing like that innocence. That look of happiness, hope, and excitement in a child's eyes. At that age, you don't know nothing about what's going on around you. Not yet anyway. You could live in poverty, in the trenches, and with that innocence and your childlike mind, you don't even understand money yet. So even though your parents are struggling, to you, life is good. As we become older and start realizing our circumstances, that's when things usually change. You might have a parent that's in jail, but you thought growing up as a kid, they were just away working. Or a parent that gets high, but when they went outside to cop their drug of choice, at first you thought they were just talking to a friend. Slowly but surely, that innocence fades away. And for a lot of us, as we mature, that reality hits us like a ton of bricks. If you come up in a certain environment, it's easy to see what's going on around you and pick up on it. You might have friends you played with since the sandbox. Now, some pick up guns, others hit the block, picked up a pack. This one in jail, fighting a body. This one got shot and lost their life. Now life isn't about hope for the future, but more like survival. For a lot of young men, they use the saying, when I first jumped off the porch, meaning this is when I decided to jump into the streets. But I have seen firsthand young men get forced off the porch, meaning you are a good kid, but you come from a block that's always beefing. You are now guilty by association, getting shot at because who you grew up with. So now you pick up a gun, not because it's cool, but to survive and protect yourself. And unfortunately, that old saying comes true a lot of times. You live by the gun, you die by the gun. And on this episode of the Baltimore Way, we will be discussing the case of retaliation in the Baltimore streets that turned into 3 life sentences. Back in 2022, 20-year-old Amir Burris was a young man navigating life in Baltimore, coming from a big and loving family. Amir had dreams. Growing up, for the most part, he stayed out of trouble and excelled in school. Described as a funny, cool dude who got along with almost everybody and loved his family, Amir was just trying to figure out life in the city and make his next move his best move. He often would hang out in the Park Heights area of the city in northwest Baltimore, an area that's always been considered notorious for getting money, but also gunplay as well. The part of the city, if you from there, you love it. But for an outsider, you be careful when you sliding through. But Amir was very familiar with the area. A few weeks before Christmas, on December 7th, 2022, it was a cold winter day in Baltimore, but Park Heights was still busy. The young man was outside by the McDonald's on Ricerstown Road. That's when an Acura pulled up with 4 young men inside. Seconds later, over 9 shots went off. And as people were running and ducking, trying not to get hit, Amir ran towards Park Heights Avenue, and the Acura followed behind him. 3 minutes later, just blocks away on the 4200 block of Pimlico Road, more shots went off. BPD was already in the area, investigating a double shooting from earlier that day that claimed the life of 25-year-old Tavez Miles. A car pulled up as him and the young lady walked out of a local store and chased them as he started running, letting off shots. It was early in the morning, 10 a.m. The woman survived the shooting, but unfortunately, he wouldn't. Now, just hours later, blocks away, BPD found the man laying on the ground, suffering from a gunshot wound to the head. He was rushed to a local hospital, but unfortunately, he wouldn't survive his injuries. He was later identified as 20-year-old Amir. As police were now investigating two homicides just blocks away from each other, just a few hours later, in the same area, another person also lost their life in a shooting as well. Residents spoke out, including two brothers who owned a business. During the first incident, they were getting ready for the day when they found themselves ducking shots as guns went off. They asked the community to come together for good and to help each other navigate instead of keep taking each other out. Other residents spoke out on how dangerous Park Heights had become, with 3 homicides just hours apart. But BPD had little to go on. Surveillance footage from the area and local stores played a pivotal part in the Amir's case. They noticed in video from McDonald's, the first set of shots that went off was from his own gun. Footage allegedly showed him shooting at one of the men who pulled up and got out of the Acura over 9 times. It's not clear if that was an enemy, if he felt like it was a threat, or he felt his life was in danger. 3 of the 4 men then got back in the car and gave chase as he took off on feet. Surveillance footage from the 4200 block of Pimlico showed Amir bopping fast when the Acura hit the block and pulled up right beside him. The camera then turned away from the man. Then shots went off. When the camera panned back around, the young man was laying on the ground, hit, and the Acura sped down a one-way street the wrong way. As an investigation started to locate the 3 men from the car, a few months would go by, but tips would start coming in, with people identifying the 3 men from the McDonald's footage as 22-year-old Wesley Lambert, 23-year-old Darian Fleming, and also 22-year-old Gary Morris. Eventually, in February of 2023, all 3 of the young men were arrested, just days apart. After being questioned, all 3 were charged with first-degree hit and conspiracy to commit a hit. It was still a circumstantial case as it made its way to trial. Amir's family packed out the courtroom and expressed their pain, especially his mother. Prosecutors painted the case as retaliation, stating the 4 men in the Acura pulled up to the McDonald's when Amir shot at one of them. The 3 others gave chase, but one of the young man's lawyers argued it wasn't clear who was the shooter, as the video didn't catch the actual homicide, just the Acura driving up the street. At trial, Gary took the stand, explaining that day was a normal day. Him and his co-defendants was hanging out at a local gas station before driving to the McDonald's. He claimed he had to use the bathroom. Then he heard shots go off. He stated he ran from the dumpster and jumped back in the car as he saw a man jump a fence and run. When asked did they chase the man for shooting in their direction, he claimed no. They drove to a friend's house because they were still shaken up. But the state was going off footage from the area, and prosecutors stated it's not a matter of if they did it, but who was the shooter, pointing to the fact that the car was the only car on the block at the time of the shooting. And after that, it was caught speeding in the wrong direction, up a one-way. It was never determined why Amir allegedly opened fire on an associate that was with the men. He was never charged because he didn't get back in the car, as the 3 others gave chase. In the end, with the evidence against them, all 3 men were found guilty on all charges and sentenced to life in prison. Rest in peace to Amir. I send my prayers and condolences to his family. I don't know why shots went off that day, if he did start shooting or if he felt he was in danger. But I do know 4 lives are now gone in a matter of just 3 minutes. That's crazy how a regular trip to McDonald's can turn to something like this. But I want to leave this one open for discussion. I won't speculate. Y'all let me know what y'all think about the situation in the comments. Yeah, man, crazy story. Rest in peace, that young man. I definitely send my prayers to his family. But I ain't gonna talk too much more about this one. Be sure to tap that like button if you're feeling the content. I appreciate you if you made it to the end. This is another episode of the Baltimore Way. Y'all already know it's all love, fam. It's your boy Tony 2 times. I'm out.